I'm Cathy Thomas, and my decades as a food writer have given me many delicious memories. A long ago lunch with New York's famed chef restaurateur Daniel Boulud gave me a chance to find out about his favorite cold weather fireside dinner. It's a one-pot meal centered around his French grandmother's irresistible chicken fricassee. Oui, Chicken Grandmere. All right, we're going to start by prepping the shallots. You want to make a very shallow cut on the root end because we want this baby to stay together as it cooks. And then we just want to peel it. Next, we've got the cipollini onions. And can you imagine how delicious the broth is when all of these shallots and cipollini onions cook into it? Oh, it's delicious. What I started with the cipollini, again, made a very shallow cut at the root end and blanched them in boiling water for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then the skins just peel right off. Now, if you're using pearl onions, which you can use in this dish, you can do the same thing, blanch them, and then you can pinch them and the skin will come off. We need some garlic. I've left the skins on, but I've removed excess, what I call parchment. So those are gonna cook into the fricassee. And then as the diners eat the dish, they're gonna squeeze out the garlic onto their French bread and eat it with the fricassee. All right, fricassees can be made with all different kinds of protein. In France, they often use guinea hen. We're using a nice fryer here today. And I'm going to start by heating up a little oil, turn the heat to medium-high, and season up the chicken. And the pan you use needs to be at least 12 inches wide and at least 4 inches deep. Skin side down. This process of browning the chicken is very, very important to the success of the dish, and you don't want to rush it. Notice on the wings, I've cut off the third joint, what I call the wing tip. So meanwhile, let's turn our attention to this knobby root, known as the celery root. And I want to take the skin off. So using a sharp knife, you want to cut it on the top and bottom. And then just go around following the contour with your sharp knife. And I'm going to give it a quick rinse. I want to cut them in half like so. Let's cut it in half again. Celery root has a delicious flavor. It's like the taste of celery if it was greatly exaggerated. So our chicken is beautifully browned on one side. I'm gonna salt and pepper the other side here. Daniel Boulud's grandmother, Francine, used white pepper. So just say it. All right. This looks beautiful. Now, of course, most people put this at this stage on a platter and cover it with a piece of foil. Me, I'm kind of lazy, so I just put it in a saucepan like so. Now, remember those vegetables that we prepped? In goes the cipollini, in goes the shallots, and in go the garlic. And a little butter, a couple of tablespoons. I'm gonna cook these for about 3 minutes. I just want to get a little color on them. All right, and a couple of hearty sprigs of thyme. Let's add some strips of bacon. And this is thick cut, but if you can get some slab bacon, that would be wonderful, cut into narrow strips. Also add your celery root and some baby Dutch yellow potatoes. So that's had about 3 minutes, long enough for the bacon to render a lot of its fat. And we want to put on a lid. And this is going to go for 10 minutes. In goes about 12 cremini mushrooms. And I've also included a few little oyster mushrooms as well. I want the chicken to come back. And we want 2 cups of chicken broth. Bring this to a boil. All right, this has come to a boil. And it's going to go uncovered into a preheated 375-degree oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. Here it is out of the oven. This one is my fancy Le Creuset pot. And I love this because I just take it right to the table. It looks so beautiful. Just before it came out of the oven, I added some chopped fresh tarragon. Let's doll it up here with some fresh parsley. Is that beautiful or what? And we'll serve it with some crusty French bread, a nice bottle of wine. Yum. Here's a quick tip from Melissa's. I adore the alluring flavors in ginger. The peppery bite balanced with subtle sweetness. Double dose ginger cookies utilize fresh ginger as well as crystallized ginger. That's double zing. Let's start by prepping the ginger. If you want to take the peeling off, just use the bowl of a spoon and scrape along the surface of the ginger. But I seldom peel it because they say that in Asian medicine that the best part for you is right next to the skin. And I'm going to cut it into strips lengthwise. And then cut them into julienne strips like so. And then crosswise. We want this ginger finely minced. So I'm just going in and taking care of business here. Now this beautiful crystallized ginger, and we need 3 ounces. Guess how many are in this package? 3 ounces. Handy, huh? Grab similarly sized pieces like so. Stack them up. And then cut them into lengthwise julienne. And then crosswise. As you go on, it gets stickier and stickier. So I have a piece of paper towel that has some vegetable oil, and I'm just wiping off my blade. Now the cookie dough. We want 2 sticks of room temperature butter, a cup of sugar, a half teaspoon of salt. Use the paddle attachment, and we're going to beat it on medium-high until everything is nicely blended and light in color. About 3 minutes. Okay, I'm going to give the sides a scrape. 1 egg. And now a 2nd egg. A teaspoon and a half of vanilla. 2 tablespoons of fresh ginger. And the mixture goes on again. Now we've got 2½ cups of flour, half a teaspoon of baking soda. And then I'm going to add about half of that flour and mix it in. And the other half. And mix that in. And then we want our crystallized ginger. And I always like to give it just one more around with the spatula to make sure all that flour and ginger is mixed in. Ice cream scoops are a cookie maker's best friend because it makes things go fast and neat. And this one is almost 2 tablespoons, and it's just about perfect. You want to flatten these out a little bit, so you can either use your hand or you can use the back of a spoon. I personally like the hand technique. You want to make them a little bit more than 1/4 inch thick. These beauties go into the middle of a preheated 375-degree oven for about 12 minutes. They need to be a little brown around the edges and a little brown on the top. When they're all nice and cool, you can dust them with a little powdered sugar, or you can take them and dip them in chocolate. So I've got some melted chocolate here. I just kind of dip half, and then I hold it up and kind of let it fall back on the other side and put it on parchment paper or wax paper. Beautiful double-dose ginger cookies. The produce aisles are filled with so many delicious choices. Try something new, have an adventure.